The night was quiet. The boy's small room was filled only with the sound of a ticking clock. He sat on his bed, scrolling on his phone, trying to fight the boredom of another normal evening. Nothing exciting ever happened in his life. Same. School, same people, same routine. He sighed, but then something happened. A sound broke the silence. It was not the sound of the clock, not the sound of the wind. It was something different. A soft crack echoed through the room, almost like glass breaking, but strangely gentle, like a bubble popping in slow motion. The boy looked up. His heart beat faster, and then it appeared. Right in the middle of his room, the air twisted and glowed. A small circle of light opened like a door made from liquid stars. Out of it stepped a girl. Not just any girl. Her hair shimmered silver. Under the dim light, her eyes glowed faint blue and her smile was mischievous. The boy froze. He couldn't even breathe. She tilted her head and looked at him as if she had known him for years. Then without a single word, she walked to his chair, picked up something, and grinned. The boy's eyes widened in horror. She had grabbed his underwear, his clean, folded panties from the chair. "What the, he shouted, jumping from his bed. The girl giggled. It wasn't a normal giggle. It had a strange echo, as if her laugh carried two voices at once, one human, one alien. She waved the underwear like a flag and ran across the room. "Give that back," the boy yelled, his face red with embarrassment. But she only stuck out, her tongue, and hopped onto his desk with inhuman grace. She looked at him with teasing eyes, as if daring him to catch her. The boy's heart raced. Fear mixed with anger, and both were crushed under embarrassment. He had seen many weird things in movies, but nothing could prepare him for this. A glowing-eyed alien girl had just stolen his panties. She spoke at last. Her voice was soft but playful, and her words were broken. "This is human ritual, yes? I take this. Now, you are mine." "What?" the boy gasped. "No, that's not how anything works. Give it back right now." But she only laughed again, her glowing eyes shining brighter. "You chase, I run, fun game, human boy." And before he could move, she jumped off the desk, landed silently like a cat, and dashed to the door. The boy tried to grab her, but she was too fast. For a moment, he thought she was just athletic. Then he saw it. Her body shimmered, and she vanished in a blink, only to reappear at the other side of the room. Teleportation. The boy's mouth dropped open. "Oh no, 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 no. You're not even human, are you?" She twirled around, holding the underwear proudly like a treasure. "Clever boy. I am not human. I am special." She winked. "You're special." He felt his head spin. This had to be a dream. Aliens weren't real. Mischievous, underwear-stealing alien girlfriends were definitely not real. But here she was, standing in his room, glowing like a star, smiling like a troublemaker. He gathered his courage. "Listen, whoever or whatever you are, give me back my stuff and leave my room. I don't want trouble." She leaned closer, her face only inches from his. Her blue eyes glowed even brighter. But trouble already here. Before he could ask what she meant, her wrist device beeped. A strange light blinked on her arm, flashing symbols the boy couldn't understand. The girl frowned for the first time. "Uh-oh," she whispered. The boy swallowed nervously. "What do you mean, uh-oh?" She looked at him, then smirked again, but this time it was different. Behind that mischievous grin, there was something serious, something dangerous. "Hunters," she said simply. The word echoed in his ears. His body felt cold. Hunters? From where? For what? And why did they want her? The girl suddenly stepped back, her playful mood returning as if she wanted to keep him confused. She twirled once more, still holding his underwear like it was her trophy. "Now you are my boyfriend," she declared proudly, as if it were the most obvious truth in the world. "And boyfriend must protect girlfriend." "Wait, what?" the boy shouted again, his voice cracking. "No, no, no, this isn't, you can't just, you're crazy." But deep down he felt it. This was only the beginning. His normal life had just ended. His quiet nights would never return. Outside the window in the dark sky, something flickered. A shadow passed. A strange, sharp hum echoed faintly, like the sound of engines not made for Earth. The boy's eyes widened in fear. The girl only smiled, hugging his underwear close. Don't worry, boyfriend. With me, life will never be boring again. The clock kept ticking. The night grew darker, and somewhere far above, something was coming for them. The boy didn't know it yet, but his life had just been stolen, along with his panties. The boy did not sleep that night. How could he? A strange alien girl was standing in his room, grinning like a thief, holding his underwear like a trophy. She sat on the edge of his desk, swinging her legs playfully, as if she belonged there. Her glowing blue eyes kept staring at him. Every time he tried to speak, she tilted her head and gave him that mischievous smile. "Why are you here?" the boy finally asked, his voice shaking. "What do you want from me?" The girl giggled, her laugh echoing like two voices mixed together. "Want? She tapped her chin, pretending to think. Then she held up his panties. "I want this. This is important human item, special power, very rare," the boy groaned. "That's not... It's just clothes. Normal clothes. Give it back." But instead of listening, she hugged it to her chest like it was treasure. "No. This mine now. You chase, I run. Fun game, yes?" He rubbed his face in frustration. "This isn't a game. You break into my room, steal my stuff, and... Wait, how did you even get here? You're an alien, right?" She hopped down from the desk with a graceful jump. Her silver hair shimmered like liquid metal under the dim lamplight. She walked slowly toward him, and for a second he felt his heartbeat rise again. Her aura was strange, beautiful, dangerous, and playful all at once. She leaned in close, whispering, "Yes, alien, very smart boy." Then she winked. The boy stepped back, his cheeks burning. "This is insane. Aliens aren't real. This must be a dream." But before he could say more, the girl suddenly vanished in front of his eyes, gone in a blink. A soft pop of light appeared, and then she was behind him, poking his back. "Still dream?" she asked, laughing. The boy nearly jumped out of his skin. "Stop doing that." She twirled around the room, humming a strange tune as if she had no worries in the world. But every now and then her wrist device beeped with flashing red lights. She always glanced at it quickly, frowning for only a moment before smiling again. "What's that thing?" the boy asked, pointing to her wrist. "Nothing," she said quickly, hiding it behind her back. "Just toy. Not for human eyes." He narrowed his eyes. "You're lying." She gasped in fake shock. "Me? Lie? Never. Alien girlfriend, always honest." The boy froze. "Girlfriend?" "Yes," she said proudly, walking up to him again. "You mine now. I pick you, you lucky human." He waved his hands frantically. No. You can't just show up, steal my underwear, and then call me your boyfriend. That's not how it works." She tilted her head. "Not work? She looked at the panties in her hand, then at him. "Maybe this make it work. In my world, when girl takes boy's item, boy belongs to girl. Simple, easy." The boy's jaw dropped. "That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard." She pouted, pretending to be sad. "You don't like alien custom? You break my heart, boyfriend." Then she smiled wickedly. "Maybe I keep whole drawer of your underwear instead." His face turned red. "Don't you dare." She laughed so hard she almost fell to the floor. But then, the beeping sound came again. Louder this time. Her smile faded for a second, and her glowing eyes turned serious. She looked toward the window, scanning the dark night outside. The boy noticed the change. His voice softened. "What's wrong?" She didn't answer right away. Instead, she walked slowly to the window, pressing her hand on the glass. Her expression was calm, but her voice was low. "They are close. Too close." The boy felt a chill down his spine. "Who's close?" She turned to him with that mischievous smile again, but now her words carried weight. "Hunters. They look for me. They smell my trail. But don't worry, boyfriend. I run fast. He shook his head. Hunters like space police, bounty hunters? Why are they after you? She shrugged. Because I am special. They want to take me back. Lock me. Use me. She twirled once more, but her voice was sharp. But I don't like cages. I like freedom. I like fun. I like... She paused, grinning at him. You. The boy's heart pounded. He didn't know what was worse, the fact that alien hunters were coming or that this girl had decided he was her boyfriend. Listen, he said, trying to calm himself. If they're really coming, you need to leave. Go far away. Don't drag me into this mess. But she shook her head. Too late. Mess already here. You mine, so you help. Simple. He groaned. Why me? Out of all humans on Earth, why my room? She giggled. Because fate funny. Fate like joke. And you? Very funny boy. She waved the underwear again. I keep this. Lucky charm. Suddenly, a shadow moved outside the window. The boy's breath stopped. It wasn't the wind. It wasn't a bird. It was something big, mechanical and glowing faintly red. The girl's smile returned, wide and mischievous. Time to run, boyfriend. And before the boy could argue, she grabbed his hand with surprising strength. The room shimmered with light. As her body began to glow, the boy's last thought before they vanished was simple. This is not how I imagined getting a girlfriend. The boy's feet hit the ground hard. His eyes squeezed shut. He felt his stomach twist as if the world had flipped upside down. And then, silence. When he opened his eyes, he was no longer in his room. He stood in the middle of a wide, empty park. The night air was cool, the grass damp with dew, and the stars stretched wide above them. The alien girl stood beside him, still holding his underwear proudly. Her silver hair shimmered under the moonlight, and her blue eyes glowed brighter than the stars. The boy bent over, hands on his knees, gasping. What was that? She tilted her head, smiling as if nothing strange had happened. Teleport. Easy trick. He groaned. Easy? I almost threw up. You can't just teleport people without warning. She giggled, swinging her legs. Like a child, though she wasn't even sitting. She was just floating a few inches above the ground. Human boy, weak stomach. Funny. The boy glared at her. Stop calling me that and stop calling me your boyfriend. She leaned closer, her mischievous smile never fading. But you are. I picked you. That is final. He groaned again, louder this time. This is insane. I just want my life back. I just want my room back. I don't want... A sound cut him off. A sharp humming filled the air, coming from above. The boy froze, his eyes turning to the sky. A glowing red light passed over the park, scanning the ground like a giant spotlight. The girl's smile faded for a moment. Hunters. The boy's throat went dry. They found us? She nodded once. Yes, they close. The red light moved across the park, sweeping over the trees, the benches, the grass. The boy grabbed the girl's arm. Hide! We need to hide! But she didn't panic. Instead, she smirked. Hide? No, we play. What? Before he could argue, she grabbed his wrist and pulled him behind a row of bushes. They crouched together, the red light passing just a few feet away. His heart hammered so loud he was sure the hunters could hear it. The girl, however, looked amused. She whispered, Hunter's slow, clumsy, not smart like me. He frowned. If they're so dumb, then why are we hiding? She poked his forehead with one glowing finger. Because boyfriend's scared. He shoved her hand away. Of course I'm scared. They're aliens hunting you. And if they find me, I'm done for too. She only laughed softly. Don't worry. Alien girlfriend protect. The boy didn't feel reassured. The red light swept away for a moment, giving them a small window of safety. The boy whispered quickly, Why are they after you? What did you do? Her smile faltered just a little. She looked up at the sky, then back at him. I escaped. My people. They want to use me. My powers. My blood. They say I am weapon. But I don't like cages. I don't like chains. So I run. Her words were simple, but the way she said them carried weight. For the first time, the boy saw something beyond her mischief. A shadow of loneliness. A shadow of pain. He felt his anger soften, though his confusion grew. So you're a fugitive? She grinned again, covering the serious moment with her playful mask. No, I am girlfriend. He buried his face in his hands. Unbelievable. The red light returned, brighter now. The boy stiffened, but the girl calmly pulled him closer, pressing a finger to her lips. Shh, watch. The hunter's ship hovered low, metallic and sharp like a blade in the sky. Two tall figures floated down, their armor glowing faint red. They looked human-shaped but taller, with long, insect-like limbs and faces hidden behind helmets. The boy's chest tightened. They look terrifying, the girl whispered. Don't worry, they always look scary, but inside, cowards. One of the hunters spoke in a strange language, a crackling sound like broken glass. The girl rolled her eyes. They say, she is near. Find her. The boy's eyes widened. You understood that? Of course, she said proudly. Smart girlfriend. He whispered back, Can you stop calling yourself my girlfriend while we're being hunted? She smirked. No, that part is fun. The hunters spread out, scanning the ground with glowing red visors. The boy felt sweat drip down his neck. Any second now they'd find them. Suddenly the girl stood up. The boy grabbed her arm. What are you doing? Are you crazy? She winked. Yes, always. And before he could stop her, she stepped out from behind the bushes, raising his underwear high like a white flag. The hunters froze, staring at her. For a moment silence filled the air. Then one of them hissed in their alien tongue. The girl smiled sweetly. Looking for me? The hunters raised their weapons. The boy's heart dropped. She's gonna get us killed. But the girl suddenly vanished again. Pop! Reappearing right behind one of the hunters. She tapped his helmet, like she was greeting an old friend. Too slow. The hunter spun, but she vanished again, appearing on the other side of the park. She danced around them, teleporting in flashes of light, laughing like a child playing tag. The hunters fired, beams of red energy blasting the ground, but she was always gone before they hit. The boy crouched in horror. She's insane. She's completely insane. But deep inside he felt something else too. Admiration. She wasn't just mischievous, she was fearless. Finally, the girl reappeared next to him, grabbing his arm. Fun game, yes? He shouted. That wasn't fun. That was suicide. She only grinned wider. You scream too much, relax, I protect you. Suddenly, one of the hunter's visors locked onto the boy. A red beam scanned across his chest. The girl's smile faded. Oh, they know you now. You part of game too. The boy froze. What? The hunters turned toward them, weapons raised. The girl squeezed his hand, her mischievous grin returning. Don't worry, boyfriend. Chaos, just starting. The hunters moved slowly across the park, their red eyes glowing through their helmets. Every step they took made the grass sizzle, as if their bodies were too hot for earth. The boy crouched low, his heart pounding like a drum in his chest. The alien girl, however, didn't look afraid at all. She leaned against a tree, swinging, his underwear in her hand like a flag, her mischievous smile never fading. Don't you ever take anything seriously? The boy whispered, his voice trembling. She tilted her head. Why serious? Fear makes heart heavy. Fun makes heart light. I like light hearts, the boy groaned. This isn't a game. They're pointing those giant alien guns at us. As if to prove his words true, one hunter raised its weapon. A red beam of light glowed at the tip, charging with a sharp hum. The boy's blood turned cold. Move, he shouted, but the alien girl only blinked away, pop, and reappeared right behind the hunter. She knocked the weapon aside with her glowing hand, laughing as the blast shot harmlessly into the ground. The boy ducked, covering his head. The blast left a burning crater where he had been seconds ago. The girl leaned close to the hunters, helmet, whispering something in her strange alien tongue before teleporting away again. The hunter swung around wildly, firing into the night. The boy yelled at her, his voice breaking. "You're going to get me killed!" But she only laughed, her voice echoing across the park. "You safe, boyfriend, trust me." He pressed his hands to his face. "I don't even trust you with my laundry." The second hunter crouched low, scanning the grass with a device. Its red light swept closer and closer to the boy's hiding spot. He tried to stay still, but his body shook. His breath came too, fast, too loud. The device beeped. The hunter turned toward him. The boy's stomach dropped. "Oh no." The hunter raised its weapon. In that instant, the girl appeared again, standing between the boy and the weapon. Her glowing eyes narrowed. For the first time, her smile disappeared completely. She raised her hand and a blast of blue energy pulsed from her palm. The hunter staggered back, its armor sparking. The boy's mouth fell open. You can do that?" The girl looked at him, her smile slowly returning. "Yes, I told you. I protect boyfriend." He stuttered. "Stop calling me that when we're about to die." The hunters regrouped, their red visors flashing faster. One barked orders in that sharp, crackling, alien tongue. The girl's wrist device beeped again, glowing bright red. She frowned at it, then shook her head. "They call backup," she said calmly. "Bigger ship coming. More hunters." The boy's legs almost gave out. "More? There's already too many. We need to run." She tilted her head. "Run? No, run is boring. We fight." His jaw dropped. "Fight? I'm just a human. I can't fight alien hunters with laser guns." She stepped closer, pressing her glowing finger against his chest. "Wrong. You can. Because you have me." Before he could argue, the hunters charged. The first fired its weapon. She vanished, reappearing above it, kicking the weapon aside. The second lunged at her with insect-like limbs, but she teleported again, leaving the hunter to crash into the ground. The boy ducked behind the bench, clutching his head. Explosions shook the earth. Red and blue flashes lit up the park like fireworks, and through it all, she laughed. She actually laughed as if she was enjoying the chaos. The boy peeked out, shouting, "Why are you smiling? This isn't funny." She twirled midair, her silver hair glowing. "Because life is better when it's fun, even in danger." One hunter swung its weapon toward the boy. His chest froze in terror. He couldn't move. He couldn't even scream, but she appeared in front of him in a flash, catching the beam in her glowing palm. The energy hissed and burned, but she pushed it back until it exploded in the hunter's face. The boy stared at her in shock. "You saved me." She looked at him, her playful smile returning. "Of course. Boyfriend must live. Otherwise, who wash underwear for me?" His face turned red. "Stop saying that." But deep inside, he felt something strange. Relief, gratitude, and maybe, just maybe, a little bit of trust. The hunters staggered back, their armor cracked, their weapons damaged, but they weren't finished. One pulled out a beacon and slammed it into the ground. A red signal shot into the sky like a flare. The girl's smile faded again. She grabbed the boy's hand tightly. "Now big trouble comes." He swallowed hard. "Bigger than this?" She nodded. "Yes. Big ship, more hunters. Stronger ones, we must move." He panicked. "Move where? Where can we even go?" Her glowing eyes softened. "Anywhere, as long as you with me." He stared at her, speechless. But before he could reply, the ground trembled. Above them, the clouds split open. A massive shadow loomed in the sky, red lights flashing across its surface. The hunter's backup had arrived. The boy's knees shook. "Oh no. Oh no. We're dead." The girl squeezed his hand, grinning again. Despite the danger. "No, not dead. Just beginning." "Fun, yes?" The boy shouted. "No, it's not fun." But she only laughed, her voice echoing through the trembling park. The night was no longer quiet. The real trouble had arrived. The boy's legs felt weak as the massive ship hovered above the park. Its red lights flashed across the ground, scanning the earth with a low, heavy hum that rattled his bones. It was like a nightmare, except worse because this was real. The alien girl didn't look scared. She smiled wide, holding his hand tightly as if this was just another game. "Don't just stand there," the boy shouted, panic rising in his voice. "And that thing is huge, they'll see us in seconds." She tilted her head, glowing eyes playful. "Yes, they see us, that's good." "Good?" he squeaked. She winked. "Fun begins now." And with that, she pulled him forward. The boy stumbled, nearly falling flat on his face as she dragged him through the park. Her steps were fast and light, while his were clumsy and desperate. "Slow down," he cried. "No," she said, laughing. "Chase better when fast." Above them, the ship roared. A bright beam of red light shot down, scanning the grass. The boy yelped as it passed right over them. He was sure they were caught, but somehow nothing happened. "They didn't see us?" he gasped. She grinned. "I bend light. Hide us. Easy." He stared at her in disbelief. "You could do that this whole time?" She shrugged. "Didn't feel like it. Wanted to play first?" The boy groaned loudly. "You're insane." But he kept running, because what else could he do? Behind them, the hunters roared in their strange, crackling language. Two dropped, down from the ship, their armor glowing red. They sprinted across the park like giant insects, fast and relentless. "They're coming," the boy shouted. "Yes," she said cheerfully. "Chase game. Stop calling it a game." The girl suddenly yanked him to the side, pulling him behind a row of trees just as the hunters fired. Red blasts tore through the grass where they had been standing seconds earlier. The ground smoked, the air burned, and the boy almost fainted. From the heat. "This is insane," he yelled. She leaned close, whispering with a smirk. "But you like, yes?" Heart beating fast. "Very exciting." He flushed. "No, I don't like it. I want to go home." But she only laughed and pulled him forward again. They dashed through the dark streets, leaving the park behind. The boy's lungs burned, his legs heavy. But the girl? She looked like she could run forever, her silver hair glowing behind her, her mischievous smile never fading. Every time he slowed down, she tugged his hand harder. "Faster, boyfriend, or I carry you." His face turned red. "Don't you dare," she giggled. "Maybe I carry you anyway, cute boyfriend in my arms." He nearly tripped. "Stop saying that." Behind them, the hunters closed in. "They're alien." Voices echoed through the night, their red lights cutting across the street. The boy gasped. "They're gaining on us." "Good," she said. "Means game fun." He wanted to scream. They turned a corner, and the boy saw his chance. A row of trash cans lined the alley. He shoved one over, then another, creating a small barricade. The girl raised an eyebrow. "What you doing?" "Buying us time," he panted. But the hunters simply blasted the trash cans to pieces with their weapons. The boy groaned. "Never mind." The girl laughed so hard she almost tripped. "Boyfriend tries, so cute." He glared at her. "This is not cute. This is life or death." But then, something unexpected happened. The hunters cornered them at the end of the street. Their tall, armored forms blocked the path, their weapons glowing red. The boy froze, his chest heaving. There was no way out. "We're trapped," he whispered. The alien girl stepped in front of him, still holding his underwear like a weapon. Her glowing eyes narrowed. "Not trapped, just beginning." The hunters raised their guns. The boy shouted, "Do something!" She grinned. "Okay." In a flash, she teleported. Pop! Appearing behind one hunter. She kicked its legs out from under it, then vanished again before the other could fire. She danced around them like lightning, her laughter echoing across the alley. The boy pressed against the wall, wide-eyed. "She's insane. But she's winning." One hunter turned its weapon toward him, his stomach twisted in fear. "Oh no." Before it could fire, she appeared again, pushing him out of the way. The blast scorched the wall where he had been. She smirked at him. "See? I protect." His chest heaved. "You really are crazy." She leaned closer, whispering, "Yes, but I'm your crazy." His face burned red. "Stop saying that." The Hunters regrouped, their visors flashing. One shouted into its communicator. The massive ship above roared louder, opening a hatch. A mechanical claw extended downward, glowing red. The boy's jaw dropped. They're going to grab us. She squeezed his hand tighter. Then we run again, chase not finished. And, before he could argue, she teleported them both away in a burst of blue light. The last thing the boy heard before the world spun was her laughter. Mischievous, wild, unstoppable. The boy collapsed onto the ground, his chest heaving. His head spun from the sudden teleportation. The world twisted, then steadied. He blinked, trying to make sense of where they were now. They stood on a rooftop. The city stretched below them, streets glowing with lamps, cars moving like fireflies. In the night, the giant alien ship floated in the distance, scanning the ground with its red beams. The hunters were still searching, but for the moment they were far away. The boy lay on his back, gasping. I can't breathe. The alien girl stood above him, perfectly calm, her silver hair glowing in the moonlight. She tilted her head, smiling as always. Weak boyfriend, can't keep up. He sat up slowly, glaring at her. Stop calling me that, and stop dragging me into this madness. I'm just a normal guy. I don't want to run from space hunters. I don't want to fight. I just want my life back. For the first time, her smile softened. She crouched beside him, her glowing eyes serious. But life before boring, yes? His mouth opened, but no words came out. She was right. His life was boring. But this was too much. He sighed, looking down at his trembling hands. Boring is better than dying. She reached out and gently touched his hand. Her fingers were warm, glowing faintly with blue light. No dying. Not while I'm here. His chest tightened at her words. He looked up at her, expecting her usual teasing grin, but instead she looked almost gentle. He swallowed. Why are you protecting me? I'm nothing to you. You don't even know me. Her eyes glimmered. I know enough. You didn't run away from me. You didn't give me to hunters. You stay, that makes you mine. His face burned red. That's not how it works. She tilted her head, thinking for a moment. Then, suddenly, she hugged him. The boy froze. His entire body went stiff as she wrapped her arms around him tightly, resting her head on his shoulder. Her silver hair brushed against his cheek, and he felt her warmth. You safe with me? She whispered softly. Even if I joke. Even if I tease. I keep you safe. He stammered. I don't understand you. She pulled back slightly, looking into his eyes with a mischievous smirk. Good, confused boyfriend is cute. He groaned. There it is, the teasing again. But deep inside he couldn't ignore the strange feeling in his chest. For the first time since this chaos began, he didn't feel completely terrified. He felt almost safe. A loud roar cut through the moment. The alien ship drew closer, its red beam sweeping across the rooftops. The boy panicked. They're still looking. We need to hide. The girl stood up, her mischievous smile returning. Yes, we hide, but fun way. Before he could ask what she meant, she grabbed his hand and pulled him to the edge of the rooftop. He froze. No, 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 no. Don't even think about it. She grinned wider. Trust me. And then, without warning, she jumped, dragging him with her. The boys screamed as they fell, the city lights spinning around him. He was sure this was the end. But just before they hit the ground, her body glowed and they floated down gently, landing in an empty alley. He collapsed again, trembling. You're insane. She crouched beside him, patting his head like he was a pet. But you alive. See? Girlfriend keeps promise. He buried his face in his hands. Why me? Why are you doing this to me? She leaned close, her glowing eyes playful again. Because you make me laugh. Because you're not boring. Because I like you. He looked up at her, speechless. His chest tightened again, but this time not from fear. Before he could reply, the ground shook. The massive ship lowered closer, engines roaring. A bright red beam shot down into the alley. The boy's eyes widened. "They found us!" The girl stood tall, stepping in front of him protectively. Her eyes glowed brighter, her silver hair lifting as energy surged around her. "Then we fight together," he panicked. "Together? I don't even have a weapon!" She tossed him something, a glowing blue shard that appeared in her hand. It pulsed like a heartbeat. He caught it clumsily. "What is this?" She smirked. "Weapon. Only works because you mine." He stared at it, horrified. "You've got to be kidding me." The hunters dropped down from the ship, landing with heavy thuds. Their red visors locked onto the boy. One raised its weapon at him. The boy's heart raced. He held up the glowing shard without knowing how to use it. The hunter fired. Instinctively, the shard pulsed, and a blue shield burst out in front of him, blocking the blast. His eyes widened. I did that?" The girl grinned proudly. "See? Perfect boyfriend." He wanted to argue, but there was no time. The hunters charged. The girl teleported, striking one with a glowing kick. The boy clumsily raised the shard, blocking another. Shot. For the first time, he wasn't just hiding. He was fighting back, and strangely, it felt good. The girl appeared beside him, her hand brushing his as they stood back to back. "Not boring anymore, yes?" He laughed nervously, adrenaline pumping through him. "Not boring, but terrifying." She smirked. "Terrifying is fun." The hunters regrouped, circling them. The ship roared overhead, preparing to drop more. The boy's chest heaved. "We can't beat them all." The girl looked at him, her grin fading into a softer smile. "Maybe not, but we can try. Together." For once, he didn't argue. He nodded. The hunters charged again, and the chase turned into a battle. The boy's hands shook as he held the glowing shard. Every breath came fast. Every muscle screamed. But he didn't let go. The alien hunters circled them like wolves, their red visors fixed on him. The alien girl stood beside him, her silver hair glowing under the ship's light. She looked fearless, her mischievous grin still there, even with death looming above them. "Don't freeze now, boyfriend," she teased, her glowing eyes playful. "Game just getting good." He groaned. "This is not a game, we're about to die." But she leaned closer, her voice soft but firm. "No, not die. Fight." Before he could argue, the hunters charged. The boy raised the shard. A red blast came at him, and instinctively he swung the shard forward. A wave of blue energy shot out, knocking the hunter back. His eyes widened. I hit him." The girl laughed, teleporting around the others, kicking one in the chest before reappearing at his side. "Good. See? You natural. Born for this." "I was born to do homework, not fight aliens," he yelled. But the adrenaline was pumping, and with every block, every counter, he felt himself changing. Fear didn't control him anymore, action did. Together, they fought. She danced like lightning, teleporting and striking. He defended clumsily, swinging the shard like a sword, barely surviving each blast. But somehow it worked. Finally, one hunter fell, sparks flying from its armor. Another stumbled, retreating toward the ship. The rest paused, their visors flashing rapidly. "They're pulling back," the boy whispered, his chest heaving. The girl smirked, spinning the stolen underwear around her finger like a victory flag. "Of course. They no match for us." The boy dropped to his knees, exhausted. "Us? I almost died 10 times. She crouched beside him, poking his forehead. "But didn't die, because I protect." He groaned, though a small smile tugged at his lips. "You're unbelievable." Before she could reply, the ship above let out a low, heavy roar. Panels shifted, and a larger hatch opened at its center. The air vibrated. The ground shook. The boy's relief turned back into terror. "What now?" The girl's playful grin vanished. Her glowing eyes narrowed. "Commander." The boy's blood went cold. "Commander? As in, boss monster?" "Yes," she said simply. "Very strong. Very dangerous." "Great. he muttered. Of course there's a boss fight. The hatch opened fully and something descended. It wasn't like the hunters, it was taller, its armor black and crimson, its presence heavy and suffocating. Its visor glowed bright red and its voice cracked the air like thunder. Run all you want, little thief, you belong to us. The boy felt his knees weaken. Oh no. The girl, however, stood tall. She twirled the underwear proudly in her hand and shouted back, "No, I belong to me and to him." She pointed at the boy. His jaw dropped. Why drag me into this? The commander's visor shifted toward him, scanning. A deep hum rattled in the boy's chest. The alien voice boomed again. Unregistered human, bonded with her power. Terminate. The boy's heart almost stopped. They want to kill me. The girl's mischievous smile returned. Yes, because you mine, but don't worry, girlfriend protect. She stepped in front of him, her body glowing brighter than ever. Blue energy surged around her, humming like a storm. For the first time, the boy saw her full power, and it was terrifying. The commander raised his weapon. The girl raised her hand. The boy grabbed her wrist. Wait. Don't fight him alone. We'll both die. She looked at him, her smile softening. Then trust me, and trust you. His grip tightened around the shard. His fear was still there, but beneath it was something new. Determination. The commander fired. The girl blocked, her blue energy colliding with red in a deafening explosion. The boy swung his shard, sending another wave of energy forward. Together, their powers combined, pushing the blast back. For a moment, it worked. The commander staggered, his armor sparking. The boy gasped. We did it! But then the commander's armor pulsed, absorbing the damage. His red visor flared brighter, and his deep voice shook the night. You cannot win. You cannot hide. This planet will burn before you are free. The boy's stomach twisted. Burn the planet! Oh no, 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 no! The girl smirked, though her breathing was heavy now. She held his hand tight. Let him try. We make him regret. Suddenly the commander leapt back into the ship. The hatch closed, and the ship roared louder. Then, without warning, it shot upward into the sky, vanishing into the clouds. The boy collapsed in relief. He left. The girl crouched beside him, smiling. Yes, but not gone. He will come again. Stronger. With more. He groaned. I don't want more. I want less. I want zero. She giggled, poking his nose. Too late. You mine now. No going back. He sighed, his cheeks red. You're crazy. She leaned close, whispering. But you like crazy. Before he could argue, she hugged him tightly again, resting her head against his shoulder. And despite everything, the fear, the danger, the madness, he felt something warm, something real. But then, the night sky glowed. Far above, another ship appeared, bigger, darker. Its shadow swallowed the stars. The boy's heart stopped. Please tell me that's not... The girl smiled mischievously, her glowing eyes shining. Yes, bigger trouble. Next game starts soon. The boy buried his face in his hands. Why me? Her laugh echoed across the rooftop, wild and fearless. The story was not over. It had only just begun.